Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm AkumaNexus here, joined by my good friend Plasma.
Yo, how you guys doing?
Today we're going to be having a first impressions, previews, and thoughts about the new anime coming out in the new wave of summer, Gangsta. If you guys are interested to know what I'm watching or anything like that, I made a top 10. Check that out. Check out Plasma's channel as well. He does theories and reviews and top 10s as well, with the whole anime gist of that. And I've only watched a little bit of Gangsta, so it really is the first impression more along with me, where Plasma has watched the whole episode 1. So Plasma will be doing a little more talking than me, so he knows more about it. So Plasma, take the wheel. First impressions.
Alright, so basically the first impression of the opening, Renegade by Stereotype Foundation, is absolutely flames. I've been listening to the opening like continuously, like 3 to 4 times. I found a version on YouTube where basically it's all looped like 3 different times. I just kept listening to it over and over again. And I found something really interesting in the opening, and it was one of the characters named Nick. Nick basically holds a katana or a little weapon, and he looks a bit more different from Warwick, who's basically the guy who's blind by one eye. Nick is basically obviously deaf, as we can see from the episode. And the thing with Nick is during the opening is that he obviously had some sort of like strength. He was a bit more stronger than normal, because obviously when he jumped from down that roof to the car basically obviously, got dented in a way too. And when he kept running, something happened to the floor as well. It just broke. And I have a little theory of this. I'm an anime only for the show, but I think Nick might possibly, have been drugged as a kid, maybe, because obviously I don't think this show isn't fantasy or anything, so it's more realistic as well. Obviously people will be drugged, and the setting of the show is in Gangsta, basically a city with whores, prostitutes, gang members, obviously gang like mafia
got that
people.
Dark theme, yeah.
It got that dark theme, that Black Lagoon, Hellsing Ultimate, Yormagon type feeling as well.
I love it, yeah. I definitely had that feeling as well.
And so basically, obviously, maybe, his parents could have obviously been, drug addicts, or, he could have been, poor on the street as well. And also, I would kind of a little thing to back that up. Basically, during the episode as well, when Nick was fighting against Barry Abbott, who was basically the villain of the week, you could say, he was part of one of the mafia family's heads, little gang, obviously. So there's the Monroe family, and there's the Karasika family, and, obviously, Barry Abbott was part of the Karasika family, and basically, he was like, his gang was booming. Basically, his gang was exploding as well. He would beat women, whatever, and he would basically beat Alex, and Alex is also another character as well. And I find Alex really hot for some odd reason.
She's fine as fuck, dude. Oh my god.
And the fact that she's black and everything just explains that this show obviously does it's a little bit racist, but obviously it explains, because I think the show is around.
She's done some prostitution, I think, hasn't she?
Yeah, she done some prostitution in the show. She was literally having like, sex with one dude. Like, it was just showing it to, like, if you haven't seen the episode already, I advise you to watch the episode. It's absolutely dark as well.
It's definitely one of the better animes coming out this wave.
And the fact that obviously, she was also doing the episode, she felt she was part of Barry's basically gang, whatever. And obviously towards the end, when basically basically towards the end of the episode, she eventually joins Nick and Warwick's gang, because basically the police, even how it's interesting as that Nick and Warwick is called the handyman, or known as Benya, and Benya in Japanese basically means a jack of all trades. Basically they mean they do anything and everything they can to basically get money. They would kill people, obviously kill children and women. And we even see Nick, the dude who was deaf, basically almost killed Alex when obviously she was with, obviously she held that gun as well. I was like, as Alex was going to kill Warwick and everything else, obviously she didn't do that. She was obviously shooting Barry, who was already dead, and everything else. So obviously Warwick, I have a little interesting theory about Warwick, and hopefully maybe I'm right. If you're a manga reader, be sure to let me know if I'm kind of right. Warwick in the episode, when he's obviously, Nick went ahead and killed most of Barry's guys, he said obviously he grabbed the gun or whatever, and he shot next to freaking almost his ear. And also interesting is when the episode obviously was that showing how, what am I gonna say? I'm trying to get my train of thought as well. Obviously, it showed the perspective. I'm just trying to think, because I have so much in my mind going on right now. I have so much theories and everything else. It's just how freaking we could see the perspective of Nick's hearing. Basically, obviously, Nick can hear a little bit, but his ears are basically shit, but his eyes make up for it. As Captain Chad or the police Chad say, even though be careful because his eyes are just absolutely like a hawk. He basically can hear you using his eyes, which is just, I find is really freaking amazing, because he was in the distance and he was seeing the guy's Barry's guy's mouth move. So this show that the freaking all the characters aren't in a kind of way they're kind of unique as well, which I love. The dynamic characters, all the characters provide something else really unique and refreshing. Obviously, Nick is the guy who wants to get things done. Warwick is more of the talker, and also how they use the implementation of sign language is just absolutely brilliant. I really just enjoy this episode, and I'm just gonna have, I believe, I don't know if I said my theory before, but, oh yeah, I was gonna say a theory where Warwick says he's shit with guns and he is blind by the right eye. But I feel like, Nick has, I feel like Warwick is just really good at using guns, because why would you basically main guns? Obviously, we have Nick who does basically close quarter combat with his katana, and Nick uses guns, so basically he'd be the guy who's more of the weapons type of person. I believe maybe he has something with, I believe his left eye has been trained to use triggers. I believe he's just really good at using guns, but obviously the reason why he didn't kill Barry at first was to show us viewers that they are nothing to mess with. These handyman just love people who are just absolute assholes and dicks who beat people up. They just want to show the superiority. They want to show their strength, and the reason why even Nick was smiling twistedly, and why Warwick was also enjoying himself as well, and Barry was begging for his life, that Warwick and Nick did not listen at all. They killed him to show us viewers and also people who are around them during the time that they are nothing to mess with. It's absolutely the messages as well. And one of my favorite scenes in the episode was absolutely when Nick basically kicked the car of Captain Chad, basically, and he started talking. Ooh. When I heard him, Nick started talking, even though he's deaf, he can somewhat talk, and he was pissed, and he was childishly playing around with them. He said it's called give or take. You give what we want, or we might take your head next. I was like,
damn.
Nick is a freaking
savage. Jesus Christ.
Man, and also one interesting I found when I was watching the episode for the second time as well, I want to analyze this episode even more for you guys, was his dog tag. Basically, his dog tag says his birth date, his birth year, which is actually unknown. So you have no idea where Nick was born, which also proves the theory that maybe he was raised in the streets as well. Obviously, when you get kids from the streets and you have no idea what their birthday is, or maybe Nick was born deaf and he couldn't talk, so you have no idea when his birthday was. His blood type, he's basically a mercenary troop, and a mercenary troop is basically a person who I believe is a professional killer. I'm not sure what a mercenary troop is fully. They're involved with the government as well, and the reason why he has a dog tag, and I believe I don't own a dog next, so just be sure to let me know.
Yeah,
basically,
I don't own a dog either. No.
A dog tag is basically do you know what a dog tag is, though, right?
Yeah, I know what those are. Yeah, I see them. Yeah.
Dog tags are basically, obviously, when they're around dogs, right? They symbolize basically, this dog has an owner, right? What if the government also doing that with Nick as well, to say, we own you? Obviously, you do what we say as well, which shows like, a twisted perception as well. And even the police in this episode basically want to remain neutral, and even the mafia and the police will basically hire the handyman, which I should explain in the beginning, but they hired them to basically do their dirty work as well. So because the police were to basically get involved, obviously they would give waivers, people would literally destroy the police and they would have no credibility at all. I did talk a lot, but there's a lot of different things I really want to talk about. I hope the show explains Ergastula itself. You know what, I'm just going to say one last thing, then we can end off this review. I must apologize for the review being so long.
Oh no, that's fine.
And just Ergastula, let me just look it through my notes. Ergastulum is basically what this show is based off. I believe the show is based on the United States of America, or US, because obviously Yakuza in Japan is basically the Japanese mafia. They don't use Yakuza, they use the word mafia, and Italy and US are basically two predominant places where the mafia basically people are. And obviously it's not Italian because the money doesn't really look Italian, because after analyzing money for like maybe 15 minutes I feel like I've been doing, but obviously the money, it doesn't really look Italian as well. It looks more US type. I've seen what US money looks like. If you're from the US or you've seen US money, you will know what it looks like when you see the episode as well. And even through the intermission screen, they show some of the cash as they showed the cash as well, and it was, you know, really US. It just felt that vibe as well. The buildings really felt Italian though, because, you know, it's obviously based off maybe like the 1930s and more older times. So I believe, and also how the page, also when you know, the police gave you know, Warwick Barry Abbott, who basically a drug dealer, a pimp, whatever you give, who used to beat up Alex, they gave him his information and it was in English. Obviously normally sometimes it's in Japanese, right, and subtitles will sometimes translate the entire page, but this one is in pure English. We were able to read it as well, and you can just see how the way Chad, Warwick, Alex, these are all English names. So I believe it's set in the US. Be sure to let me know if it's right or wrong, if you agree with my theories I've said so far. And I believe I have nothing to say. Wait. Let me just think about if I have something to say. Oh yeah, Ergastulum. It's actually the city Ergastulum is basically set on, it's based on the Roman building Ergastula, which basically used to keep slaves, dangerous slaves in the area. And the city is kind of not a really safe place to be. It's very racist.
No, it's not a safe place, no.
So basically it was sort of based on the Ergastula thing, where Romans would keep dangerous slaves as well, and obviously due to overcrowding in prisons, they would basically put all types of people in there, criminals or no criminals as well. Oh yeah, one more thing, Connie, you know, the girl, basically, if you've seen the episode, because once you watch the episode, you'll see the gun shop owner, whatever, she heavily reminds me of Revy from Black Lagoon. Some of the characters
really?
Yeah, one of the characters, she isn't as, you know, brute force her, but her design sort of just reminds me of that, and I feel like she is nothing to mess with as well. So that's all I'm going to talk about the episode. Be sure to let me know what you guys thought of the episode in the comment section below. All opinions are welcome. And let me just do the, is it cool if I do the outro as well?
Before you do that, I wanted to touch on some points where, just to kind of agree with you as well. I do like the theme. If you're into animes that do kind of have that dark theme, kind of like the, you know, where it's like Psycho Pass, Black Lagoon, where it's not really a dark theme, more along that dark feeling where it's like in a not safe environment. They're kind of like, it's like the struggle, you know? So if you're into that kind of stuff, or if you really did kind of like Hamatora and you weren't too nuts about Hamatora and you wanted something, you know, a little bit more of a darker, more serious with an actual plot than Hamatora, I would definitely recommend Gangsta, since it is, I think is the better Hamatora, where it's got just that kind of that more of a serious mood to it and stuff like that. And also if you like hot women with big tits,
monster tits, as Nick said it.
As Nick said it, yep. I would definitely peep this. It's definitely worth to watch. I mean, it doesn't even hurt to watch an episode, but it is definitely...
Wait, and by the way, as of recording this video, Gangsta is on Crunchyroll now, so you can legally watch it on there. But the first episode has not released, but it will start releasing on Sunday at their simulcast part.
It's now on Crunchyroll now for users that only use Crunchyroll as well. But that is going to be it. So give the video a thumbs up. Check out Plasma's stuff. He does do videos like this as well, doing animes, top 10s, reviews, theory speculations, all of that. So go check out him as well. He will be going heavy on the summer wave for the anime.
Thank you for having me, by the way.
Thank you for being here, man. I would... Thank you for being here. I'm definitely going to watch the episode. I wanted to have that more first impression thoughts just from hearing it from someone that I know, with my good friend Plasma. So he'll still be down in the description down below, so I urge you to check him out. And with that being said, we are out.